Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Now that the maquette has been more or less built, it's time to start with the armature for the 3/4 life-size figure. And I usually start off with some measurements, and what I'm doing here is doing some calculations because this is a 3/4 life-size figure, so we need to do some math. And so what I do is I do measurements from the model, and I divide by 4 and I times by 3. And I'm sure there's a better way to do that, but I'm no math genius, so I just kind of end up doing it pretty as simple as that, really. And I do a bunch of them. I do the width of the pelvis, the width of the rib cage, the overall width of around the hips, the overall width around the shoulders as well, and also a couple of height measurements. I measure a lot because the armature is not very flexible. I'm using plumber's piping as the core of my armature, as you can see right here, and if I make a mistake when I construct this armature, I cannot cut away or do anything like this. So I try to construct it well within the boundaries of what my sculpture is going to end up being. Now, if I was doing a life-size figure, I could have just put the armature up next to the sculpture, next to the model, and kind of gone from there. But I can't really do that here because it's a 3/4 life-size figure. So we need to do some measuring. So for the core, it's plumber's piping, and for the arms and the head, it's aluminum armature wire. And I usually end up with a little bit longer than what I need, especially for the head here in this case. For the arms, I have enough wire so that it can run slightly below the elbow. That way I'll get a lot of strength in where the bend of the elbow is, because this armature wire is pretty thick. I'll put some link in the description to the thickness of the armature wire that I'm using here and where I bought it. I make sure I have enough armature wire so that it runs into the elbow and slightly further, so that I'll have a strong bend, that the lower arm won't bounce around on me too much. And I attach all those to the plumber's piping with hose clamps. And I've done a couple of measurements to make sure that I have enough room to build a base, the height that I need, and I also make sure that the top of the plumber's piping is not anywhere close to the top of the sculpture. That probably runs to maybe the middle of the chest, and so I have enough room to move the pit of the neck up and down. And that's also why it's a good idea to have, it's nice to have a strong core. The armature has a strong core, but then as you kind of reach the extremities or get closer to those areas where it's nice to have some flexibility, that you have, for example, aluminum armature wire, which is very flexible. So once I have put all the armature wire in place and attached them all with my hose clamps, then it's time to, and I also attached the 2 wires that are going to end up being the head together with a small hose clamp. Then, once I've done that, it's time to wrap the entire armature in a thinner armature wire and make butterflies. I wrap the bigger armature wire in thinner wire so that the clay has something to hold on to, so it doesn't slide around on the armature wire. And I just use a thinner aluminum armature wire for that. Then I construct butterflies, and these are made out of those small pins that you could people used to hang clothes on from clotheslines, and maybe they still do, I don't know. But I buy them at the supermarket, and then I bend them so that they form a cross, and then I attach them again with a thin armature wire, and they are suspended around on my armature, further out than what the clay is, or further out than what the rest of the armature is, and they will give some extra support where I don't have armature, and it's also quite a flexible support. Thank you for watching this armature making video. Next time we will start with the sculpting, hopefully. If you liked the video, click like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.